If your friends haven't told you, McDonald's Spicy Chicken McNuggets are back. The ones made with spicy tempura and aged cayenne. But before you go telling friends, make sure you get them first. Order ahead on the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's.
London Stock Exchange Group is here to be your essential global markets infrastructure and data partner, where open isn't just a platform, but a philosophy, giving you the freedom to make your mark in the world. LSEG. Open makes more possible.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Knockenstock in 2019. This July 19th, 20th and 21st, Ireland's most picturesque festival is back to the breathtaking shores of the Blessington Lakes. Enjoy your weekend camping by the lake, boutique camping in your camper or in our family area. Delighting with delicious and Epicurean food stalls, artisanal coffee, bustling bars and traders. Theatre, poetry, dance, spoken word and a celebration of art in all its forms. There will be music, acts and experience you won't get anywhere else. Like Happy Alone, Mango and Mathman, Jealous of the Birds, Joshua Burnside, Keen Kavanagh, The Scratch, Ye Vagabonds, Junior Brother, Just Mustard and many more. Weekend tickets are $155 from knockenstockin.ie.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? Well, Dublin, with Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
ChristopherMedia.net.
From Asmik Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
Welcome to Unregimented number 279. Wow, I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Rich. And we got Donald Trump's tax returns from the 80s.
Yeah. Well, we got them.
Yeah.
Not the ones we wanted.
Yeah.
But
30 years old.
Wait a minute. If they're from the 80s, can we get Robin Leach to read them? Wouldn't that kind of be like apt? Like I smell a.
In 1987, Donald Trump lost a record $2.5 billion.
Yeah. He's still alive. Didn't he go down in 2016?
Yeah, he died pretty recently.
Oh, see, takes all the fun out of it.
Now we got to get Elon Musk involved to bring him back to life.
Well, no, I was just, that would be an awesome skit on Last Week with John Oliver, is to have Robin Leach read us the 80s tax returns. But if he's dead, oh well.
Yeah, this was 85 to 94 and shows that he lost more money in business transactions than any other American.
Weren't those the Ivana years, roughly?
I don't know.
Wasn't that right before he married? In the end, right before he marries Marla Maples?
Jesus God, he did marry her.
It could be, but what are you getting at?
I don't know.
He was trying to.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Are you?
We can make up. Let's freeform a conspiracy. Why not? Right?
He's trying to fudge his income tax returns to save himself on divorce, or save some money.
There you go.
That's about all I can come up with. Why?
But, hey, look, I didn't make any money. I can only give her like $10 a month. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but here's the thing: would his ego let him say that just to save himself money? I mean, what's bigger, his love of money or his ego?
Well, I think a lot of people are kind of confusing this because there's a difference between what's on Donald Trump's tax returns and his actual salary. Don't forget that he just goes around starting businesses, appointing himself the CEO, assigning himself a salary, and then running the business into the ground, claiming bankruptcy, and having all those losses count against his taxes, so he pays essentially nothing. And this is nothing in here is news. It's nice to have it all, in official form like this, but it's not anything outside of what we already knew about Trump's business practices. And it doesn't mean that he was poor or that he was continually losing money. Himself as a person was continuing to get paid.
Yes, these were for his businesses.
Yeah. So that's the scam. I mean, your businesses can lose money and you can retain your salary.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Heard that's how that goes down.
Right. I mean, those are protections that are written into the law because we want to promote the idea that people invest in themselves and start businesses, and
because we think you shouldn't lose your house if your business fails.
Right. That's why we have LLCs. That's what that means. A limited liability company basically is a firewall saying that, if I can take this venture, I can start this business and try something. And if it doesn't work, as a lot of small businesses doesn't mean that I'm risking my entire life, that I'm going to be homeless if this doesn't work. Who's going to take that kind of chance if that's the downside, is possibly being homeless and destitute? But I mean, obviously Trump is gaming the system. Pardon me. I'm not defending what he's doing, but he was doing it within the law.
He's operating in between the parameters in which he's allowed to operate.
And this is also something that Trump has talked about before. He doesn't come out and talk about it to this extent that like all of his businesses are losing money, but he's basically said that he's just playing the game that's been handed to him.
Everybody does.
Yeah, everybody does it to some extent. Trump has learned to work it to an extent that, what are his successes besides his personal brand? Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I was trying to explain to. Yeah, oh God, I forgot about his university. I was trying to explain to a friend of mine who's like, "Oh, they got him tax evasion." I'm like, "Well, did he do anything illegal? I mean, there's a reason they rewrite the tax code every year because they're closing loopholes. They just happen to open more loopholes.
Claiming a loss isn't illegal."
Well, exactly, and just because. His argument was, well, what if he did something that's now illegal? Well, he didn't do it now, did he? He did it 30 years ago, didn't he?
Oh, no, yeah, we have protections against that. I mean, you can't just create a law to retroactively convict somebody.
Exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the motherfucker's, as crooked as a dog's hind leg, but and I'm not on some Trump shit. I'm not trying to sit here and fucking, fillet the motherfucker, but really? I mean, like, I get it, and this friend of mine, he's very anti-Trump. I'm like, I get it, but dude, you're just you're setting yourself up for a disappointment, and that's all you're doing. You're really just, you're basically trolling yourself. I don't know how else to put it to you.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of this is like lashing out of frustration over the situation in general, but, it does point out a extreme lack of knowledge of just general law and the way our government is structured, and people, and the way that they talk about
get out of here
ways that we could possibly get him out of office.
You're a well-informed populace, sir.
And that's part of why I'm in support of moving forward, at least looking at impeachment still, having these hearings. William Barr refused to testify and is found contempt, and I guess that'll go to court, and we'll see what happens with that. We're going to get a ruling on, I guess in the next week, a judge is going to rule on whether we can see Trump's current tax returns, and maybe we can see if there's any Russia money tied up in there. But I'm in favor of this, even though I don't believe that it will have an effect of getting this guy out of office, or maybe not even keep him from being reelected. But it's part of the process, and it should be carried out, regardless of what you believe. If we prosecuted every crime like we already knew the answer, and we wouldn't have a very effective way of fighting crime. The whole idea is to follow out the procedures. So
it'll keep him busy. He won't do any crazy shit. Keep him occupied.
It could.
It's like giving a cat a ball of yarn. Keep him occupied for the next year and a half.
Not that I'm, once again, not that I think that Trump is some sort of evil genius or something, like twirling his mustache and whoa, but It is kind of brilliant to go, okay, so you've been crying about my taxes for a while now. Okay, here's taxes from fucking 30 years ago. Now, it's like going up and pissing on an anthill and watching the ants flip out. I almost feel like he did it just as a fuck you to him.
The New York Times dug him up.
Yeah, he didn't. These weren't handed over. These weren't revealed by Trump. As a matter of fact,
inside sources type things. My bad then.
Yeah, no. The White House and Fox News, in turn, really didn't have much to say about it the day of.
His responses have ranged from "so what" to fake news because it's Trump. Like, do you expect anything else?
Right. Well, he also, when he finally did tweet about it, he tweeted about like he does everything. He tries to have it both ways. He says that, what they're reporting on in the New York Times story is just him, playing the tax system like any other entrepreneur would, and then finishing his tweet with, and you can't believe anything in this story because it's fake news and because it's the New York Times. So which is it?
Yeah.
It's like when he tweets about the Mueller report now, he's like, this collusion investigation needs to wrap up because the Mueller report already found me innocent of all charges, and plus the Mueller report was driven by a bunch of Democrats and was corrupt investigation. Like,
yeah. I just keep going.
You contradict yourself in your same tweet.
I just keep going back to that Bill Maher, Billy Bush interview where he's like, yeah, Trump just looked at me and when the camera wasn't rolling, it said, just say whatever you want. They'll believe it. They're stupid.
Yeah, that's why it's its own fucking religion.
It really is. It really is.
Let me share a quick example with you because I read this tweet right before we started recording and I found this really interesting. This imam that I follow, Imam Mohammed Tawhidi, I believe his name is pronounced. He has a video of, I believe it's another imam that's describing what happens when you die. When you get your 72 virgins, right? He's describing that 72 virgins is tall, beautiful, white, interestingly, long black hair, thighs, soft skin, and she will enter the room and bring you wine, right? And somebody questions him on this, like, oh, wait a minute, I thought, that was against, Muslims can't drink alcohol. That was against their religion. And the imam responds, in paradise there is everything. There are no impurities, brackets, alcohol. Therefore, alcohol will exist, and it will be pure. Okay, well, pure what? Does that mean alcohol exists, but it doesn't get you drunk? And if so, then it isn't alcohol, is it? If pure, then Muslims can drink. Also in paradise, there are no sins, so Muslims can drink and get intoxicated without worrying about sinning.
Huh?
So we're not applying any kind of logic to that. That's so convoluted. I don't know if I'm a Muslim and I die, I still don't know if I can get drunk or not.
To me, it seems pretty clear that they're saying once you die and you go to paradise, whatever, that you pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And if that's the case, how did I end up of the three religions, the Desert Trilogy religions? How did I end up a Christian? Jews don't believe in hell. Muslims apparently think if you go to heaven, you can just act like you're in hell and sin with impunity.
But you can't sin.
Because there is no sin. So it's like, it's like there is no hell once you're in heaven.
You could still be a dick. So it's like, live your life on earth purely and without sin, and then you'll get to be a dick for the rest of the afterlife. Just be a dick to everyone. Because I mean, how many of those 72 virgins virgins are any of those? Is that their idea of heaven, or is that where females in the Muslim religion, that's their hell? Like, you sin, you have to be one of the 72 virgins that waits hand on foot on these assholes that are just like getting drunk and fucking everything in sight.
I never understood the 72 virgin thing. Maybe like one virgin and 71 whores.
Right. But
because I want to
give my example. There's zero logic applied to it. It's whatever I want it to be.
It's yeah. It's welcome to religion. Welcome to,
and it's the same thing with Trump. Like you can't tell you can show people on paper how unsuccessful he is, and they still look at him and go, "Oh, look at that guy. It's a success story. Look at him. He is the American success story."
I'm sorry, what bootstraps did he pull himself up out of poverty from?
Yeah, a small loan of $1 million.
It was like 6 months ago, a story about all the money that he got from his dad, even though he said that, first of all, what he described as a small loan from his father, which then he revealed to be $1 million. So he considers $1 million to be a small amount of money. And then we find out the truth is actually much more, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the story.
If $1 million is such a small amount of money, hey, Trump, hey, baby, send it my way. Send $1 million my way. It's no big deal, right? It's pocket change.
I give him my PayPal, DJT.
Yeah, but you didn't earn it by having a sperm donor that had money.
Oh, that's the yeah. God, hey, look at me thinking I should be entitled to things like the president of the United States has been his entire life. What an asshole I am.
Come on now.
And you know you're right, because it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. Just I don't know. Guys, how do we break out of this of the situation that we seem to be in as a society, where we just go, no, I don't care what your source, no matter how fact checked it is, no matter how many people claim it's unbiased and et cetera, I don't care. I'm going with this one. This lockherup.com told me this. This is the reality of it.
We get rid of all the internet connections. I think I think we have unfortunately crossed into probably something there's no turning back from. This is the bad part of the free sharing of information.
I mean, because the truth is, I think these people have always been there. It's just they didn't have a way to get together, and now they do.
Well, I mean, let's keep this in perspective, guys. We're just talking about a shift of power, and it's a shift that's been going back and forth for a long time now.
But I mean, well, don't get me wrong. I felt the same way about the fucking, the birthers, and and they've added so many other offshoots from the birther conspiracy that I can't even keep up with him. Like he faked his college entrance paperwork, and the government just gave him money to go to college for free because they were grooming him to be the first black president and all. And I'm just like, wow, that makes Alex Jones sound sane. You people have gone way off the reservation on this one. Like, you are fucking out there by Pluto. Seriously. I mean,
I met an 18-year-old this weekend who said Alex Jones makes a lot of sense.
Was he very high?
He may have been high.
Because that would... yeah, I mean, maybe if you're high enough, he does.
Alex Jones was among a number of people who got banned from Facebook and Instagram since we talked last.
Yeah, him and Minister Farrakhan. No, that's Facebook and Twitter being Ralphie Wiggum again. I'm helping. Like, I don't know what. Trust me. We complain about.
He's been banned from Twitter for a while.
I know, but the extremist voices. Not just picking on him either. Guys like Farrakhan. I mean, they're private businesses. They can do whatever they want, but at the same time, if the whole point, if you're Twitter, if you're Facebook, and you're encouraging the free flow of information, and you want everyone to exchange ideas freely, I mean, there's create a filter. I mean, you're gonna have to take the good with the bad.
Well, have you seen the newest thing that people are doing with the Pepe memes? They're putting them in a clown wig, and they put a bread nose on them. And instantly, most of Facebook's algorithms pick that up and will remove the picture. Well, but now it's to the point where if you just post a red clown nose, that gets removed and you get a 24-hour ban. And I'm like, can we get some? I mean, yeah, I get it. I understand it because somebody, well, not somebody, the Chan sites set the shit up and said, Pepe is now, we're going to use him as a meme to troll, and et cetera, and people took off and ran with it. And then the people who are on the white supremacist side said, sure, we'll use Pepe to troll. And it's like, it's a fucking frog. It has nothing to do with white supremacy, white nationalism, nothing. And you've turned it into this. Why? You're just as dumb as the people who bought into the shit. It's just, you're both idiots. You've been set up. You've been trolled. Just take it. Put your bullshit baby ego aside and just say, you know what? I got. It happens.
This could be. I'll shed on my own point here. Because I've talked about this concept with Aaron. I think on another podcast, or maybe the mics were on. I don't know. I know I've talked with him about it. This could be these services trying to step in and regulate themselves, so the government doesn't have to start stepping in. It could be an attempt at that. Regulation's going to have to come soon, and they can either do it themselves, or we end up with the FCC now has an internet space, which I'd rather them do it themselves.
I still don't have an issue with them deciding who or what they want on their platform, though.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they are a private business.
They are.
No, isn't Facebook publicly traded?
Yes.
But they're not utilities or something. They're still, they're the shareholder. They still function as a private entity, I guess you can get at it.
No, and I don't think anyone on this podcast has ever said that they shouldn't be able to ban certain whatever. I just think it's very arbitrary what they ban, and it's completely. It's like, we're sitting here trying to make a safe space for everybody, but we're not even going to think about what we're doing. We're just going to, someone might object to that. Get rid of that before anybody says anything. It's just like, okay, well, you're not exactly flashing anything but a room temperature IQ by doing that. You're not impressing me with how deep you're willing to think about a subject.
Okay,
it's knee-jerk reactionism.
But Rich, I think you're contradicting yourself, because this is just trolling, right? So why shouldn't they ban it? What's the intent? Regardless of whether the intent is directly, somebody who believes in white power or something like that, or somebody who's just trying to get you to believe that something coincides with white power, the base intent is the same. They're trolling and they're looking to incite. So shouldn't that be the type of content that Facebook and other platforms decide, we're just going to keep it off the platform? It does nobody any good.
Well, once again, it's their yard, their rules. You don't like it, go home. I'm not. Look, I can say legally they're doing nothing wrong, but I can also say at the same time, but I fundamentally disagree with the policy as it is. I'm not saying the policy itself is flawed. I'm saying the way it's carried out, the way it's implemented, has some serious flaws in it.
But this isn't a new policy for any of these companies. This is just Twitter and Facebook and others actually implementing the policies that they have had in place since day one. They just haven't very effectively policed it. In the interest of like what you were saying, Chris, this idea of this free flow of information, even though I don't buy that that's what any social media is, but they bill it more as like one can express themselves on a public platform, but that doesn't mean that everybody gets to express everything.
I'd rather the nuts be where we can see them, because I think doing this, you're going to drive them underground. Who knows what crazy community Alex Jones and his people are cooking up, now that they've been driven off of these platforms.
Yeah, but do you think that it's making Alex Jones more powerful?
Made him a martyr.
Boom, just took the words right out of my mouth. It's made him a martyr, and that can stir up more followers. That can make his following even stronger.
It can, but I don't think that we've seen any evidence of that
yet. It's only been a few months.
True. Okay, but hold on a second. What evidence do you need to see? Do you need to see people blowing up buildings, yelling, this is for Alex Jones right before they hit the switch? I mean,
no. I mean a concerted effort that actually has results of saying, like, let's have our own social media platform. Alex Jones starts his own version of Twitter or Facebook, and actually gets people to sign up for it, and it's a viable business. Somebody doing something like that.
There are a few, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, that are
viable businesses that are supposed generating
to be,
lots of money.
Hold on.
That was part of the stipulation.
Okay, there's a speed limit, Turbo. Let's try to maintain under it. They've only been around for like a year, dude.
Yeah.
How big was Facebook after 1 year? Not that fucking big.
Well, also, Facebook was something that people didn't know what it was at the time. Now, in a day where we know what social media is and what we want out of it, if you haven't had some traction in a year, you're probably not going anywhere.
Very well might be, but
I don't. Look, okay. I'll grant you that this is early, and we may yet see a greater fallout from this. But I think if we're talking about whether, let's just put this to bed. If we're talking about whether Facebook or Twitter has the right, they absolutely do. There's no laws to stop them, and government regulation of these things is kind of a different thing, and I want to get to that too. But if we're talking about if they should do this, if it's a good idea to do it, I think it is. I support them in this idea, not because I feel like I need to be protected from it. I followed these nutbags I followed Jacob Wohl when they still allowed him on Twitter. And I found it to be quite amusing, actually. But I can totally understand why they wouldn't want him on the platform. And especially because people like Jacob Wohl, this isn't just about spreading information. Spreading misinformation, rather. And Alex Jones is the same way. I mean, these are guys are with clear agendas that will lie and cheat in order to try and get their point across. Jacob Wohl was the guy who tried to pay off somebody to falsely accuse Robert Mueller of sexual harassment, and just got caught doing the same thing with Pete Buttigieg. I mean, the people that it's not just like nut jobs like, oh, they're anti-vaxxers, flat earthers, stuff like that. These are people that where their language is closer to the line of yelling fire in a crowded theater.
I'm a fan of keep the nut jobs where we can see them. Give them their own little section. Twitter, Facebook. Here, you go here.
But why do you need a section of Twitter or Facebook when if you have enough people to support that, you can just have your own platform?
Because I want the nut jobs where I could see them. I don't want to drive them underground where they can go and organize and come back in like 3 or 4 years. Crazier. I just keep them where we could see them. But
reach and power.
For the time being?
For the time being, like what's going to happen? What do you imagine happening in this quote unquote underground?
Well, it's people.
Alex Jones doesn't go underground. He goes out on the street and begs people to watch his YouTube videos, which aren't even on YouTube anymore. They have to go to his actual site to watch them. He's leaking viewers.
Think he's got Facebook and Twitter? He lost his internet connection?
No, but he's losing money. He's losing ad revenue, and he's losing viewers.
Find another funnel to send them into.
He may do so.
If there's anything that I've learned from watching televangelists, no matter how many times they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, they go away for a little bit, they regroup, and they come back. And it may take 5-10 years. But guys, Jim Baker went to prison for embezzling from the PTL Club. He is now back into like the top 5 televangelist in the world as far as money he rakes in.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like what? He got out of prison 20 years ago, a little bit less than that. I mean, a total disgrace. So, I mean, Alex Jones in the long run is going to be fine because there is no lack of fucking morons to believe his bullshit. He's just going to go, lick his wounds, heal, find a new way in, and he'll get his listeners back up because these people are fucking, they crave this shit. They seek it out.
Here's why I don't see it the same way, because Alex Jones is a complete moron who happened to stumble into, he happened to be the right idiot at the right time to spread his idiocy. And he's not he's not a genius. He's not like some super business savvy guy who's going to find a way in no matter what. he kind of lucked into this whole InfoWars shit. And I think if he had to start from scratch today, I doubt he would be as successful.
Well, no, it's just like you said about someone trying to come up with a alternative to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Facebook of this shit. And where were the conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones who were there at the beginning of the internet taking off? He was there before that. I mean, you know, he was a joke in Austin pretty much, but I mean, you know, he was an established personality in Austin, and it was kind of almost like a cult hero. And then he went off the deep end with, you know, the Obama shit. I mean, that's what he went from the standard shit of, you know, Illuminati, Bilderberg Group, or as Opie and Anthony call it, the Bill Burr Group. You know, just the standard bullshit, you know, the conspiracy theories. Then it turned into this whole Obama thing, and he found a whole bunch of people who were like, oh, you hate Obama? We do too. And boom, he started cashing in. That's when if you notice those documentaries that the InfoWars puts out, they really started pumping them out after Obama was elected. It's not that, I mean, they had a few before, but I mean, it was like once every couple of years. It's like 2 or 3 a year there for a while under Obama.
Well, but I think that we're conflating two things here when we talk about power, like how much power Alex Jones may have on social media and banned from social media and YouTube and all that. Because if you define power as reach, as how many eyeballs you can get to, well, then his power is reduced. If you define power as how devoted his core followers are going to be, then sure, maybe he's more powerful in that respect, but what does he do with that? He doesn't have the same reach to expand that he had prior. I mean, people might be more diehard fans of Alex Jones because now this is proof that he's telling it like it is, that he's pissing off important people, right? Because he's been banned from all these platforms. So what, I have to go directly to his site. Now I'm going to absolutely believe everything that he has to say because he's the only guy telling the truth out there.
As long as he's got someone
in that respect, he grows more powerful, but only powerful to guys who are powerless nut jobs.
As long as he's got someone willing to sell him web space, people are still going to be able to get to him instead of going to watch him on YouTube.
As long as he does, yes, but he has less people now that are willing to sell him ad space, so he has less money, so he has less power.
As long as I'm going to
I'm telling you, he's becoming less powerful.
As long as there's somebody willing to host Infowars.com, and there always will be, because it gets insane.
Yes, and as long as Alex Jones is willing to live off of $2,000 a month.
Okay,
I just think it's traffic that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter were getting for him. I think it's funneling it just right to Infowars.com now. They're still getting it. They're just getting it from one place now instead of several.
Aaron, hold on.
Because it comes from views. You're assuming that everybody that might have stumbled across a YouTube video or a Facebook link or a Twitter link and watched his video would, if they stopped seeing Alex Jones's videos randomly in their social media feed or anything, that they would then immediately go to InfoWars and go and watch his videos. And that's not the case. Sure, his fans who seek him out anyways will absolutely go right to his website. But if you want to talk about ad dollars from eyeballs, that is taking away social media and YouTube from that is a major dent in InfoWars income, and they're not going to be able to make that up with their core followers that will go straight to the site.
Yeah, they just go subscription based. So Bill O'Reilly did. Bill's doing fine.
I don't know. What are you arguing? Yes, he can make money at whatever amount of money. What I'm saying is that amount of money, that amount of power is reduced because of this. I'm not saying that he's going to be kicked out on the street, that he's going to be walking around with a barrel around him.
My point is, his message is still going to be out. It's still going to be out there. He's still going to have his followers.
It still will be out there, but it's lessened. That's my point.
Dude, we've just done like 20 minutes on it.
And?
Well, okay, look, here's the bottom line. I used to watch some of the InfoWars stuff on YouTube out of morbid curiosity. Now I can't. I don't watch as much.
Right, because you're not going to just randomly stumble into it, and you're not likely to go and seek it out.
But at the same time, we're forgetting that he is syndicated in 100 different radio stations still. I mean, that's a daily thing.
I'm not forgetting any of this. I understand that he still has reach and influence.
But you said it yourself a few minutes ago. You said, so what if he preaches to these powerless idiots? Well, if they're powerless idiots, why are we trying to shut them up to keep them from talking and reaching them?
I'm not. And I don't accuse Facebook or Twitter of trying to shut them up. I'm saying that I don't want, if it was in my house and somebody's playing videos of Alex Jones on the TV, I go, hey, shut this shit off. I don't want to play it in my house. And that's all Facebook and Twitter are doing. It's their fucking house, and they don't want this shit on.
So they're silencing him in their house, yes. Yeah. I got you. I mean, first of all, why is Alex Jones the prime example? The fact that Farrakhan got the boot is amazing to me. Because does that mean we've turned the corner and we're starting to realize that the Nation of Islam that's established in this country is not the same as Muslims all over the world? I mean, yeah, their doctrine has roots in the same origins, but they go way far off from each other.
I was thinking the same thing, Rich, because he's been hiding behind that Muslim shield for a long time now.
I mean, and he says, I can't remember her name, but the new congresswoman who, the rights.
Ilhan Omar.
Yes, thank you. Omar coming. Omar coming.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. I'm surprised those memes haven't popped up with her in the trench coat walking down the street. Like, oh, shit, Omar coming. Hide your crosses. But,
and AOC can be Snoop.
Yeah. You heard? But no, I mean, like, he says shit that makes, the supposed anti-Semitic remarks she made look like romper room. I mean, he's actually called for the extermination of the Jews at one point in his career. I mean, granted, it was many decades ago, but still.
Oh, in this world, youthful indiscretion. Please, Rich.
Oh, okay. Well, see, it would only be a problem if he was trying to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That had passed. Would have to come back and haunt him now. So, almost Oscars. Or he got drafted like in the first round of the NFL draft. Then it would be a problem. What he posted, years ago. But no. That to me is a bigger subject that is just being completely ignored in the media, and I don't know if that's.
Well, it doesn't serve the narrative of that Facebook is purging themselves of right-wingers.
Oh, I would consider Farrakhan pretty right-wing. He's just a black nationalist.
He's an extremist.
I mean, if you put his views up against the KKK, except for that they don't like each other, if you could negate the black-white thing, they have a lot of the same views, especially about our Jewish friends.
Well, let me clarify the narrative that's out there then. The narrative is that, Mark Zuckerberg and others that run these platforms, they're upset over the idea that Trump is president and they're trying to punish him and all of his supporters.
Forgive me if he has stated this before. Is Zuckerberg of like a highly political guy? You know what I'm saying? Does he like throw his opinion into the public arena about politics all the time? Because if he does, I must just miss it.
No, I'm not aware of any of it.
I don't know how he, I don't know if he supports the Democrats or Republicans. He might be a libertarian, could be an independent. I don't fucking know. And so to me, when people do that, I'm like, you're kind of projecting. I think it's what you're doing. I mean, here's the thing. If the man did come down solidly on one side or the other, then I'd go, it's a valid argument, but it's not a strong argument. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it is his playground. You don't like it, go home. I mean, that's what it really comes down to.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? Well, Dublin, with Virgin Media you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that in respect of this new article or opinion piece that was put up by one of the founding members of Facebook. And he had an opinion piece in the New York Times, and I've forgotten his name again. Chris Hughes is one of the co-founders of Facebook. And he's talking about Facebook and, when we talk about Facebook, I hope we understand that we're also talking about Instagram and WhatsApp, because those are just three funnels that are all going into the same spout or whatever. So he's saying that basically the government needs to step in and start treating the Facebook like it is a utility and break it up, because it's a monopoly. So when we talk about, hey, you can just go fuck off to somewhere else if you don't like the way that Zuckerberg polices his sandbox, if we're to consider this to be a monopoly, then that's really not the case, that you have just options to go fuck off somewhere else. I still believe you do, because you have the option, the ultimate option of not paying any attention to social media, period.
Yeah. You have Twitter or not social media.
Right, or anything else like books and TV and talking to people and looking them in the eye.
I don't view this as a monopoly, because my initial question is on what? I look at this as, and the analogy I used in our pre-show chat as, this is like 1908 and Zuckerberg invented the car.
Well, I think he makes the best case for it being a monopoly when he points out that between the three funnels that 86% of social media ad revenue goes through either Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp.
Okay.
So in that respect, if we're just looking at ad revenue and looking at these companies as ad revenue collectors, that does seem like it is a monopoly.
But no, because the GM can't have Buick, Chevrolet, and Cadillac. They're going to be.
Sure, they can.
They had to be
no, because there's also Ford and Nissan and Toyota and Honda and Chrysler and everyone, right?
Wait a minute. You're talking, okay, but I think, Chris, is what you're getting at, then GM just has to put out all cars under the GM logo and not have sub-brands?
Yeah, they can't have four different income streams.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is that it's all one company that is controlling 86% of that revenue. You know, if GM had 86% of the car market, I think we might be looking at them, regardless of how they structured themselves with the different car brands, we might be looking at them as a monopoly.
Well, I guess my question would be, why does Facebook have to pay a penalty because no viable competitors exist at the moment?
Well, what are you describing as a penalty? I mean, breaking them up. I mean, first of all, you have a really easy way to break them up because you have 3 different apps. So you can break those into 3 different companies.
I guess, yeah, but with the way our laws are written, they can still keep that going. But to me, it's not. To me, the industry is still so young. Social media really is mass social media. The way we know it, the landscape we know it, it's only 10 years old. It's only been around since 2008, 2009. Facebook went to everybody in 2008. Before that, you had to have an EDU address to have it. Twitter really didn't show up, I think Twitter didn't start till like 2006. Like we are still very, very early in this industry, in this medium. Like this is, it's gonna.
I don't know if I see it that way.
It's not gonna be around forever. I can tell you, because just, you know, the future that's coming. Spent the weekend with my wife and her family. She got a 12-year-old sister, talking about Facebook. You know, she said, "Who has Facebook?" And, you know, I looked at her and I said, "Old people." She looked at me and said, "Exactly." So I mean,
yeah, but she probably has an Instagram account.
Yeah, but it's going to cycle. It's going to turn into something else. Like something else is going to show up. You know, eventually Ford was around for a while, and then Chevrolet showed up, and then and then Chrysler showed. You know, I guess that's kind of where I just view this industry right now. It's very early. It's very early on.
Yeah, but what if it's just an endless cycle of Facebook rebranding itself by getting what they consider an acquisition that they consider to be the next big thing?
Well, if it's just a matter of Facebook keeps rebranding themselves into new ventures, as long as they fail at all those ventures, eventually they can be president of the United States.
Right.
And they won't have to release their tax returns. It's wonderful. It's a win-win.
I guess my argument too would be one word rebuttal: Microsoft.
You know, I was thinking about that because I had way too much fun in the 90s. In the early 2000s. Did they actually break Microsoft up?
Yeah, but they're back. But 20 years later, they're just back to being what they were.
Well, I remember a lot of my techie friends, the argument was there are other operating systems to use. They're just...
It's not that you know about them.
Well, I mean, you know,
like
Linux and all that.
Nerds.
You know, shit like that. But it's like, the beef wasn't that there isn't other operating systems, is that Microsoft was purposely, or not purposely, but basically staking a claim to all PCs.
They have. When's the last time any of you bought a PC without Windows on it?
Well, that comes from Windows licensing. You know, they wanted to, in order to establish themselves as the operating system for PCs, all they had to do was get a lot of contracts with PC manufacturers and say, you know, look, we're going to be the dominant platform, and we're going to do that by making sure that everybody's software works with our software.
But it's
right. So then you have the Windows certificate, right? The little thing that you click on. Sometimes it says this is not authorized. Sometimes it says, oh yeah, this is authorized Windows software. And in order to get that authorization, you can't offer a PC with any other operating system. If you want to put Linux on your machines, have fun selling PCs, because none of them are going to have Windows operating system
to me,
on them.
It seems like what Microsoft did was like, hey, that's a nice that's a nice box you got there. It'd be a shame if nobody wanted to buy it.
Well,
or use it, you know.
Right, but if you're looking at Facebook as an example for Microsoft, then it sounds like we should have the government step in, break them up, because they're still going to do fine in the end, right?
I guess, yeah.
Microsoft turned out all right.
Yeah, this conversation is win-win or lose-lose, depending on which side you're on. Either way, it works out.
Well, okay, but here's the problem that I see. Because I'm not arguing this from the point of I'm for government regulation of social media. I'm just going by what's proposed in this opinion piece. But one of the parts that stuck out to me is government regulating speech, because if government is going to regulate social media in any way, then that is the government regulating speech. And I'll just read from you a paragraph from this op-ed. It says, finally, the agency should create this proposed agency to oversee social media. The agency should create guidelines for acceptable speech on social media. This idea may seem un-American, M-, and I would insert because it is. We would never stand for a government agency censoring speech. But we already have limits on yelling fire in a crowded theater, child pornography, speech intended to provoke violence, and false statements to manipulate stock prices. We will have to create similar standards for tech companies can use. These standards should, of course, be subject to the review of courts, just as any other limits on speech are. But there is no constitutional right to harass others or live stream violence.
So where does eat a bag of dicks fall in this guy's purview? I mean, how do you fight against that? How do you fight against comment? How do you? Good luck, because we're talking about the end of comment sections. Twitter, bye. Like if what this guy is talking about, like it.
Well, okay, but here's the problem with this, and this is when most people, when they talk about censoring of speech, they use examples that actually point out why we don't need to censor speech. And he does this in this paragraph. When he points out yelling fire in a crowded theater, child pornography, speech intended to provoke violence, and false statements to manipulate stock prices, yes, we already have those. But we don't have those through regulating speech. We have those with good old-fashioned laws governing behavior.
Yeah, we had those as a problem came up. We would those rules. That's like the reason the tag is on the hairdryer says don't use this in the bathtub. Someone used it in the bathtub. We have those because somebody did those things.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which is why when I saw that sign that said, "Please only use your finger to push the floor buttons on the elevator," I was like, "What happened here?" Required this.
Right. But what he's saying is that we
at a movie theater, so now we have to have a law against that.
What he's saying that we have to have these types. We have to have the same regulations that we have on speech in real life as we do on social media. To which I respond, and we do. Right? We don't have special laws for social media. I don't see where you justify being more strict or having more regulations on speech just because it is done on social media.
Yeah, and we all know that, speech used to incite violence, only the government can use that. We got to go get them evildoers, the axis of evil, make them pay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's for Mom Apple Pie in America. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, but did you see Trump's rally in Oklahoma this week?
Speaking of inciting people to violence.
he's talking about immigrants. The immigrants, they're coming over the border. There's hundreds of them. There's a handful of border agents. What can they do? What can they do? And somebody yells, "Shoot them!" And the crowd erupts in laughter. And he says, "You said it, not me. Only in the Panhandle."
Neat.
Of course, it's the Redneck Riviera in Florida. Of course it is. Yeah. They do realize they don't border Mexico, right?
I think the Oklahoma Panhandle.
My bad.
Yeah.
And Rich's Gulf of Mexico is close enough. Got Mexico in the name.
We got them Puerto Ricans floating over. Those are just tropical Mexicans. Yeah. Okay. I forgot. If you are determined to hate someone based on one thing, you'll find a way to attribute it to them no matter what. I forgot. God, if we could only harness that energy and use it for good in this world, imagine how far down the road we'd be. Well, that's another thing. All right. I've played devil's advocate on this show when it comes to the accusations of dog whistle this, dog whistle that. That's not even dog whistle.
No, it's not.
I mean, that is like...
Right, this is like saying that somebody's trying to be sly because they're openly winking at you in front of everyone and nudging you with their elbow. Like, Everyone knows what you're doing, dude.
And I mean, it doesn't matter. This is just curiosity on my part. I do wonder if Trump really feels this way, and he's always felt this way, or
it's pandering,
or if he craves that applause so much that he's leaning into it because
ding ding.
But it doesn't really matter either way.
It
It's
doesn't, does it? Right?
It's fucked.
I mean, if you're interested in dissecting the personality of somebody like Trump, then it applies. If you want to see what the fuck's going on in America, it doesn't apply at all. Right? It is what it is. It's a known factor. Trump's looking to incite, whether he believes his own bullshit or not.
Do I think he believes it? Nope. Do I think he'll say anything to get the applause? Yep.
Oh, he's proven that.
It really is that Family Guy sketch where Lois runs for political office and she just goes, 9/11.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good
times we live in.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
But I guess just to put a bow on our lengthy Facebook discussion, I don't know. Do you guys? I don't think that that should be regulated. I don't think it should be considered what's the term? Like electricity. I'm losing
utility.
A public utility, yeah. And I certainly don't think it should be that the speech on any platform should be regulated by the government.
Well,
No.
that's the way I feel. And I mean, I would add this little asterisk to it. The people who go, well, if Facebook kicks you off because you said something they don't like, that's not censorship. Yeah, it is. It's not government censorship. It's not violating the First Amendment.
I would rather
People
Mark
confuse
Zuckerberg to get out of his sandbox than have the government regulate the speech. I'd rather that set up.
Yeah. But yeah, Rich, censorship does not mean that your rights are being violated.
No, it just means
it's not the same thing, but that's what people hear now.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's I know that I harp on that constantly, but that is a major issue we have with just the general, not like that should be basic knowledge. Just because someone says, get out of my house because you're wearing a fucking swastika, well, you're censoring my right to expression. Then go, in my house. In my house?
I was about to say, if you were at a party and you walk into the host and go, hey man, fuck you, and then he asks you to leave, you're goddamn right you're being censored. It's his house, and he can tell you, he can tell you what you can and can't say in his house.
Now, if you want to do that in public, I'll take you down to Michigan and Lanyo, drop you off on the corner, and you can make your way back to the suburbs wearing that shirt. We'll see if you do. Okay, Mr. Tough Guy.
Right, but when you raise a society of people who have been taught that their every thought is valid and true, then any kind of censoring of ideas feels like a personal attack and a violation of one's rights.
And see, that's
welcome to
life. I mean, look, we censor ourselves every day, right? I don't tell my coworker that his haircut looks awful, right? Because I don't want to deal with that shit, and I don't want to be an asshole. So I censor myself. I don't say what I'm thinking.
Oh, I'm married now. I censor myself daily.
It's called, I don't want to end up in divorce court.
Yeah, it's like, don't say that. Do not say that. Say something else.
But see, that's what irks me so much with this. Yes. Are there... this is obviously a rhetorical question because we all know the answer is yes. Are there white supremacists out there? Are there, Nazis
out there?
Yeah, of course there
are.
Is.
Some of them fine people? I'm sorry.
I mean, I would be hard pressed to say yes. I mean, show me one that operates on like little children and saves lives or something. I don't know. Usually these people are like, oh, hey, bring a transmission around here. By the way, you ain't got any darkies in your family, do you? Okay, bring your transmission on in here. I'll work on it for you. It's not like they're doing God's work out there. So, I mean, even take away the racism, we're not really losing, a cure for cancer here. You know what I'm saying? So
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like the headline of America's collective brain explodes when man cures cancer. It also happens to be racist.
Yeah, I'm gonna cure cancer for everybody except for y'all non-white mud people. It's like what?
He's such a brilliant scientist. He finds the cure for cancer, but only for white people. What do you do? What do you do, America? What do you do?
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna quote Eddie Griffin. He's like, I could not believe when these rednecks in Arizona were saying when they passed Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as a holiday in Arizona, they said, I'm still going to go to work. I ain't going to take that day off. Eddie Griffin said about it, he goes, it could be motherfucking Ku Klux Klan Day. If it's a paid holiday, I'm barbecuing. I don't give a fuck, okay? If you paying me not to go to work, shit, I'll celebrate whatever you want. I'll burn a cross on my yard right now.
Yeah, if it was a whites-only cancer vaccine, I don't think I could take it. But then again, I gave myself sickle cell anemia just out of solidarity.
Oh, so that mole on you is your true color. The rest of you is a birthmark. I got it. It's starting to make a lot of sense.
I am just a melanin deficient black man.
Yeah, but you got good hair. You must got Indian in your family. But no, like seriously, of course they're out there. Of course they're fucking a problem. Of course they're an issue. But I feel like there's so many people in this world right now who, if they take a shit, they're afraid a fucking Nazi's going to pop out their asshole. And it's like, at what point does this become like our version of the Red Scare, where we see communism behind every corner? It's like, guys, we get it. We know they're out there. You don't even got to go looking for them. They'll let you know where they're at.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yeah.
That's part of that's part of what gets them off is the attention.
I may have been in an area of the country this weekend where, they'll let you know.
But it's just this, this everything, the minute we don't like something, we attribute it to white supremacy, white nationalism. Like, some conservative ideas are just conservative. Chris Rock said it best. Some things I'm liberal, some things I'm conservative.
Yes.
Comes to prostitution, I'm liberal. When it comes to breaking in my house and stealing my shit, I'm conservative.
Yeah.
Put that motherfucker in jail.
Talk about taxes, I'm conservative as hell.
Let's not forget that this is America and we have a broad spectrum of racism.
Yes.
Well, we got it in every flavor, man.
Everybody hates everybody. Various reasons.
No, exactly. It's not that if that was the discussion, then fine. Let's have that discussion. But that's not the discussion. And when you try to steer the discussion to that, people accuse you of, what about ism? Oh, okay, yeah. I watched that episode of John Oliver too. Okay, smart guy. All right. Anything else you just learned? Do you want to regurgitate? Seriously?
Well, okay, let's look at Trump's tactics over the last 2 years, though, right? Or even leading up to the election. He gets in hot water for talking to Russians and possibly taking money, possibly taking information from Russians to help him win an election. And he starts painting this as like standard business practice, right? Because that's the playbook. You just muddy the water a little bit and go, oh, geez, I'm just politicianing, right? This is what politicians do. You got to get a little dirty to win in this game. And so you just make it look like this is just a little bit of business as usual. And, with the racism thing, the left is doing that job for Donald Trump.
Yep.
Because he goes, oh, look, there were some very fine people out there that were just trying to protest the removal of a statue, right? And then people jump all over him like, oh, you're supporting white supremacists. And then who's a white supremacist? Well, according to these people, anyone who supports Trump now. So now you've just completely muddied the waters as to what it takes to be a white supremacist. So now if somebody goes, I think that guy's a white supremacist. Oh, okay, is he a white supremacist? So you've just obfuscated the whole issue.
Of the MAGA is the new white hood. That bullshit.
Right. Which, and that's not to say that Trump and his supporters aren't using racism as a tactic to divide people and instill fear, which is a way to control people. They are totally doing that. But
this is another situation where using the broad brush.
Right. You are actually helping to normalize racist behavior from Trump supporters by just blindly calling all of them. Hey, look, Trump's a racist. You voted for him. You must be a racist. All right. Well, then the word has no meaning anymore, right?
And then it also just leads to the dangerous attitude of people just going, all right, fine. Then I am. That's what you believe. Fuck it. Cool. I'm a racist. You know, it starts breeding that dangerous attitude.
I mean, and let's be honest here. What do you do with someone who just goes, I disagree with you on this, and because I disagree with you on this, you're racist, and you're never going to change my mind. When those words come out of their mouth, okay, whatever. I'm done. There's no point in having a conversation with you. There is none. Because this isn't a conversation. This is you want to monologue to me until I get tired of listening to you and agree, which is I'm just acquiescing at that point.
Well, yeah, you just hit on the head. They don't want dialogue. They want, because dialogue means there would be 2 point of views going on. 2 people would be talking. There'd be a discussion. But no, dude, monologue. You just he's one.
Well, yeah. And I mean, look, calling somebody a racist should say clearly that, like, we have nothing left to talk about. It's just that it's used as a starting point instead of we've run out of things to talk about because I can't get over the fact of how racist you are.
And you know,
right? It's a different. Like, let's say if you met somebody in a bar and they're wearing a MAGA hat, and you just go, that guy's a racist. I'm not going to talk to him anymore. Or the guy's not wearing a MAGA hat, and you have a conversation with him, and over that conversation you realize, oh my God, the person I'm talking to is actually a horrible racist. Well, then, you know, whether you call him out on it or not, conversation over, you have nothing left to talk about. And so when you start from the point of calling somebody a racist, then you automatically don't have anywhere to go from there. There's no exchange of ideas to be had.
Yeah, and then
you're shutting down the conversation. You're not interested in dialogue.
But I mean, okay, going into a situation and going, this is where words actually their definitions are important, even though a lot of people don't seem to think so these days. Like, you know, somehow prejudiced has turned into meaning you want to, like, you know, kill black people and kill Jews. And it's like, no, that just means to prejudge someone based upon what they're showing you, their physical appearance or whatever. Surface shit. Okay. If I see someone wearing a MAGA hat, probably not going to make a beeline over for him to start a conversation.
Right. But prejudice is also, that guy's wearing a Marvel shirt. I'm going to talk to him about Endgame.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet he knows.
Exactly. It's like the word propaganda. The word itself does not imply bad or good. Propaganda is just propaganda. It's how it's used.
Or rhetoric is another one.
Yeah. And I mean,
and your flyers are propaganda.
You know, and
by definition, yes. And your point?
I've handed out a lot of propaganda
on paper.
So you hate the trees. You just made Sting cry. But no, but if I see someone and I start talking to them and I realize, oh shit, this motherfucker's probably a card-carrying member of the Klan. Yeah, I'm probably going to end that conversation fairly quickly. Unless I'm like in a mood where I just want to fuck with someone and he's dumb enough to let me do it. And I can just entertain myself until I get bored of him. I mean, so that's not saying I want a monologue. I want to talk to the person and that's it. I don't want them to say anything. I don't want them to have any rebuttals or thoughts of their own. That's just saying I'm not going to have this conversation with this person. It's not worth it. It's like when the Christians show up at your door on Saturday morning talking about, we'd like to talk to you about abortion. My grandmother was a savage when those assholes would show up. She'd just look at them and go, look, that has been a subject that has been argued about for decades. We're not going to solve it on my doorstep at 8 o'clock in the morning and slam the door in their face. And I was like,
that's pragmatic as hell.
Well, also, if you're going to come back at if somebody calls you a racist and you're then going to try and defend yourself even, or have your own accusations or whatever. I mean, still not having a dialogue. That's not even having a debate. People like to think, oh, I'm going to debate this guy online and show him. You're not having a debate. You're both having a monologue. You're just directing them at each other.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's very rare that I can witness anybody online actually having a debate. It is exactly what you said. It is two people shouting at each other, not listening to what each other types, maybe doing a little profile stalking to go, oh yeah, I see you wore that fucking tank top. You look tough, huh? You know, shit like that. It's why I don't get into it online with people. You know, and you want to argue with me? If you know me well enough, give me a call. If you don't, take a chance, send me a message. Can I get your phone number so I can argue with you? I'm not really in the mood. I'll give it to you when I want to pick a fight. It's that simple. Because we go nowhere. It's just chasing our tails. That's why, ultimately, I think the funniest part about the shit, with not to go back to Facebook completely, but is the stuff they take down is usually memes. It's stuff that someone posts, a picture, a meme, whatever. It's not like the actual flame wars that go on between people that get people banned. You know, I mean, you can go into the comment sections of some of these memes that will get yanked, and it's just fucking. It's like 4chan or 8chan. I mean, there's just all types of niceness or not niceness, hate and discontent flying back and forth. Words that we don't use in polite society going back and forth between people. That's not what gets the people the ban hammer. That's so. I mean, to me, that's the worst part. Is when you try to talk to someone and try to make sense to them, and they refuse to accept it. Someone posts a meme, I'm not going to go, that's horrible. Ban his ass. In fact, I thought that was a bannable offense. Apparently not anymore. Oh, sorry. It's just I made the mistake of getting involved in a social media thing the other day, and it spilled over into today, so it's fresh in my mind, so forgive me. Let's move on to another subject.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. I feel like it's my first day on the internet. Like, God damn it, I fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Fuck, you know?
Someone told you to look up blue waffles, and you did.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, God, you know better than this. Sorry.
They did the soot on the binoculars.
Yes.
And you're just sitting there with circles around your eyes going, what?
Well, I can't see. And you keep putting it back to your face. I don't see where over there.
What's so funny?
Oh, okay. No, I don't see it.
Oh, the snipes. They're right over there. Don't you see them?
Oh, Christ.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
Well, okay, what else do we want to talk about then this week? Do we have anything to say about the recent rulings on abortion? I mean, Georgia has their fetal heartbeat bill, which passed. So now you will have 6 weeks from conception to get an abortion, or else it's illegal. And it looks like Kentucky is going to get their bill passed, which is going to be a near total ban on abortion with no exceptions, not for incest or rape, and a 99-year max jail sentence for doctors who perform abortions.
Cool. What year is it?
Yeah. I mean, these are things that are going to go through the courts, obviously, because it seems to directly contradict Roe v. Wade.
Here's where I'm. Okay, let's try this again. Here's where I start to get worried. What if the Supreme Court rules, it's a states' rights issue?
They are leaning more conservative nowadays.
I mean, at that point, do I just go, fuck it, embrace my full-on inner hypocrite and go, well, that applies to marijuana and shit, not to abortion? Or do I just accept it and go, well, I guess in some states, they're 60, 70 years behind the times. I mean, you don't like it, don't live there. And by the way, that's not what I'm saying, but I know people who have said that and will say that. So
right. No, I hear you. But the idea of it being a states' rights issue, I guess you can consider it a states' rights issue if you don't consider it being against somebody's basic human rights of control over their own body. You know, I mean, you can make it a states' rights issue, but you can't claim states' rights and trump the Constitution, trump the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm amazed we're having this conversation right now. I really am.
Well, every time we have this conversation, if Todd was here, his head would explode, because this is where, one of those things where him and I butt heads when he was on the show. But you know where this is coming from. We all know where this is coming from. This is coming from the religious right, a shrinking group in this country, by the way. And this is like it really feels like this is their last gasp effort to grab the brass ring and be like, no, we're still a force to be reckoned with as a voting bloc in this country, and we're going to prove it. And it's like, ultimately, I can't sit here and go, oh, well, a bunch of people who believe in talking snakes and zombies coming back from the dead and ascending to heaven and people living in, giant fish's stomachs. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they should tell me how to live my life, because they're fucking grounded both feet in reality. I just can't do it. And so I just go back to the tired old, how Christian of you. And when all these unwanted kids are born, are you going to take care of them?
They just have them. You fucking raise them. I'll bring them to your house.
How many times do we sit and talk about, as a society, the damaged people that are produced from fucked up homes, unwanted kids who were either raised by parents who treated them like an afterthought, or worse, pawned off to the state to raise, and that outcome ain't that sunny. Because once you turn 21, they just cut you loose and tell you have a nice life. Bye, later. That's it.
Jail.
Yeah, we'll see you when you come back to go to prison. We'll give you 2 years. That's the over/under. And I'm just going, what do you people want to do about them? And their answer almost every time to the person is nothing, not my problem. Well, then, if it's not your problem and it's not your business, why is it your problem, your business, with the person who wanted an abortion, whether they have one or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Rich, because it's two basic concepts of American freedom that this is going against. Not only the right to have control over your own body, but the right to have your life not be affected by other people's religion.
And this is why I understand the anger towards Christianity in this country. But I think we can all agree, if for whatever reason we were a predominantly Muslim country and the same shit was coming from them, I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I'm saying? If Muslims are like, well, no, we can't have abortions, that's murder, blah, 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 and no more alcohol. No, don't tell me how to live my fucking life. Fuck you. I don't care what imaginary gods you worship. But I do understand it, because, Christians have a foothold in this country, the anger towards them. But isn't it deserved? Isn't it live and let live? I mean, I know they cherry picked that book for what they want, but I don't know. And we all know where it's going to end up. It's going to end up with a lot of dead women going. And I know it's a tired trope, but I don't know any other way to put it. The back alley route, or some, going to Google search. Oh, if you take this and this and this, it'll cause a miscarriage, and she ends up in the hospital, fucking some sort of poisoning or some shit.
Like, why are we talking about shit that from 50 years ago? Why are we talking about this 2019? Why have been so quiet during this? I am mystified. We're having this whole conversation. Wow.
Well, look at the states it's happening in. Those aren't just in the Bible Belt. Some of those are notches in the Bible Belt. And I mean, look, I've been all over this country. The South has got some really beautiful parts to it. There's a lot of it's one of the really last original places in this country. But that doesn't mean that these, like, the states that are banning abortion need it the most. Thin the herd a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. Sorry, that's as politic as I get about that. Like, seriously? But Mississippi and Alabama, we don't believe in abortion, or we don't believe in evolution either. Yeah, you do believe in cousin fucking, though, don't you? Yeah, okay, web toes. Hey, Aquaman. Seriously, and yeah, why are we talking about it, Chris? Why? Because there's a party that panders to the Christ lovers, and this is.
We keep hearing stories every year about how this country is getting less and less religious. Maybe this is a last gasp. Be like, see, we told you, Jesus. I don't know.
At this point, let me just say this: fuck God and fuck Jesus. Either come back or don't. Send us all to hell, or prove that you're full of shit. One way, shit or get off the pot. Jesus and God are the ultimate centrist, sitting on the fence.
But I think this issue, I agree with you that its influence is mostly from Christianity, a heavy influence in this country, but it spreads beyond that in a way that this type of judging of other people can exist outside of any major religion quite comfortably. So that's what it's basically coming down to. It's judging somebody else for their decisions. Oh, you just think there's going to be an easy way out. Well, guess what? You fucked somebody without a condom, and now you got a baby. You deserve to be shackled with that baby. That's the core judgment that's happening here. That it's only loose women. It's only people with no morals that do this type of behavior, that have unprotected sex and then just get an abortion to solve the issue.
And the fact that these people
and that type of judgment exists with people who don't necessarily even believe in God or belong to a church. They still have that moral superiority.
Man,
until it happens to their daughter. Then it's like, get in the car, we're going to California.
We're going to get that crotch goblin out of there. Yet the people making those judgments, and they're on their moral high horse. How moral is it to shackle a human life that is unwanted to a mother, possibly a father, if he's if that's the relationship is working out, that don't want it? What do you think? What good? And
God said so, Rich. You know the answer to that because God said so.
Fucking just asteroid 2020, whatever. I don't know what to do. Chris, I know you're right because I've had this discussion with people in my family, religious people over 42 years of life. I've had this discussion multiple times, and I'm just like, so why doesn't God work a miracle and change that person's heart and make them want that child then? Instead of that child being raised as an afterthought, as something that you beat and you throw into a corner and you tell to shut up whenever it makes noise and stick it in front of a fucking television and then wonder why little Johnny's 14 and he reads at a fucking first grade level.
But you can't possibly know the mind of God.
We invented them
in mysterious ways.
Wait a minute. We're made in God's image. Take away the fact that we invented God. We're made in his image. So if we know our minds, we know his mind, right? I mean, he is a jealous God. There'll be no other gods before me. He wiped out a whole town for worshiping a golden calf.
Well, also that excuse of God working in mysterious ways only works for things that you can't explain. All of his behavior in the Bible is rather straightforward.
Yeah, he's a fucking sociopath in the Old Testament.
Right.
I mean, what kind of arbitrary shit is it? He told Lot, I'll let you and your wife and your daughters escape. But if you look back, you turn into a pillar of salt. Lot's wife got one more step. She's like, I just want to look. Damn. See, it's not even garlic salt. Shit.
What's going on over there?
Right. Yeah. But no, that's just an example of how his mysterious ways that he works in.
Okay, so
he's just doing it for the lulls. You get to talk to God, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't think that Lot shit was funny?
What are you, a bunch of fucking normies? Come on, man, get with it."
My best words, dicks.
I mean, and it really until it's the religious folks for the most part. I have met the rare person who's not religious. And they don't claim that I'm spiritual but not religious. Bullshit either. They're just like, nah, I just don't believe in none of that. And I don't believe in abortion. And I'm like, wow, you are fucking fascinating. How did you come to this conclusion? If it's not through religious morals, and usually it's, they're some sort of pacifist of some sort. They're against all death. And I'm like, like to quote Bill Hicks, if you're against death, why aren't you locking arms around cemeteries?
Yeah. See, I've committed to this premise.
There's a waning number of people that are claiming to belong to some sort of organized religion. That is true. While I think there's probably a growing number of people who still believe in just some kind of spirituality in general, who are, well, let's face it, they're just not man enough to face the concept of death, so they want to believe that there's some sort of spirit that's going to live on. And that spirit, I don't know, gets put in you at some very early gestating age. And by aborting that fetus, you're killing that spirit inside of them. And I think the minority of people are, well, I don't want to put my beliefs on anyone else, but I feel like I'm definitely in the minority by believing that there's just nothing out there. There's no spirit, there's no afterlife, there's no mystery to it. There's just worms eating your body when you die, and that's it.
Yeah, best way I've ever heard anyone describe it is, what was it like before you were born? I don't know. That's probably what it's like after you die.
Right.
And I'm like, oblivion. Okay. That's better than a lot of the options. Except for, I'm kind of coming around to this Muslim way of thinking now. Like, when you die, you can just be a big a dick as you want in heaven. You know what I'm saying? I can just walk around telling I can just walk around giving little children the finger. Fuck you, you little shit. You should have been a blowjob. And no one can do nothing because it's not a sin by the nature of being in Muslim paradise. So
Right. I never understood the Christian viewpoint of like, live this perfect life on earth and then just go live the exact same perfect life, but on a cloud somewhere in your next life. Like, that's the reward? That's the fucking reward? That's what I waited for?
It's like, what's the problem with Christian heaven? It's full of Christians. It sucks. Like, I don't want to listen to Jim Varney. Turn that shit off. What the fuck are we listening to? That's Gomer Pyle. Why is he playing that? What's wrong with you?
You mean Jim Neighbors? Jim Varney was Ernest.
Wrong redneck. Sorry. Wrong closeted redneck. My bad. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. God damn it. That was a good one if I'd have got it right, too. But anyways. Yeah, no. I remember having this conversation in Sunday school, and I was like, so when you go to heaven, your heart's desire, you get all your heart's desires, all this, and and of course they're watering it down for us kids because they can't, even though they can fit big chunks of bullshit in our head, at a young age, they can't fit the chunk they want to put in our head. So they got to break it down a little bit. It's like putting cheese on the broccoli to get you to eat it. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what if my heart's desire is to sin? What if I want to do something that's against God?
What if I'm just a sinner? Do you ever think about that one?
I'm born into original sin according to you. I have to ask Jesus for forgiveness. That does not remove the fact that I'm going to sin from me. I just have to atone for my sins and strive not to keep repeating them. So when I die, I become perfect when I go to heaven? And they're just like, you're overthinking this. And I'm like, no, you're underselling it. It makes no sense. Seriously. Doug Stanhope, I died for your sins. And I kicked you in the shin for my mortgage. What the fuck does one have to do with the other? Makes no sense. But that's, and that sin factor is what this all comes back to with religion and abortion. It really is. It's like in Scream when they broke down the rules of horror movies. If you commit a sin, you're going to die in a horror movie. You can't have sex, you can't drink, can't do drugs, et cetera, or else you're going to get it. And who knew that the Christianity is basically just that scene from Scream? If you have sex and you have a kid, no matter how horrible the life that kid's going to have, you have to raise it. You shouldn't have had sex. That's your punishment for the sin you committed. It's a human life. It's not a punishment. And if you look at it that way, you train people to look at it that way, how do you expect these people to look at it at a fucking child? Oh, I'm shackled to you because I made a mistake. Is that how you want to be? I mean, go back to when you were a kid. Is it the type of parents you want? I mean, really think about it. It's like, I'd rather just be raised by an orphanage at that point.
Right. At least I might have a chance of finding somebody who gives a shit about me.
You know what? Yeah, because where I'm at, I damn sure know this person doesn't. Yeah. And believe me, as someone who has a little bit of personal experience with this, with one of my parents, it never changes. There's no road to Damascus moment. There's none of that. That resentment is always there. As an adult, I used to hear from one of my parents, I resent you, I hate you because of all the shit that I couldn't do in my life because I had you. And I was like, I asked you to fucking bring me down here? I'm sorry. How is this my fault? You raise a kid with that. And what do you think it's going to do to that kid? It's going to twist that kid's mind about how the world fucking works. And you end up with another me out here. And we don't need another me out here. One is more than enough. Trust me.
I'd argue we might be in better position with more people who thought like you.
No. Oh, God, don't curse this world like that. I like the Mad Max movies a little too much. I'm a little too comfortable with that idea. I mean, not that I'd survive more than 2 seconds, but still, it'd be a cool 2 seconds. Oh, God. It was along these lines, the vaccination. The kid who...
Oh, the kid in Kentucky.
Right back to the knots in the Bible Belt, baby.
Yeah.
The belt buckle of that motherfucker. Okay,
yeah.
So
Jerome Kunkel.
Wow. I saw a picture of this kid. No, I saw a picture of this kid. He's white too. If you're white and your name's Jerome, you're probably from down south. Just saying. Just
ginger.
Let's go.
Jerome Kunkel, who is featured in this article with his father, Bill Kunkel, who looks just like the My Pillow guy.
AKA, my name's Butch Kunkel. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, he actually, is this the one that, I think he sued his school. He filed a lawsuit against a health department ban from him going back to school unvaccinated from chickenpox because there was an outbreak of chickenpox at the school. And he actually won his lawsuit, was allowed to go back to school where he promptly caught chickenpox.
Good. That's that God working in mysterious ways.
Is this story his obituary?
No, he survives, I think.
Damn it. Doesn't have a happy ending.
Right. But, well, I mean, it sounds like the family's actually thrilled about this because now they don't have to get him vaccinated. Now he's just naturally vaccinated by, already having chickenpox and surviving it.
Cool. He wins?
I guess. I mean, sure. That's an easy story for the chickenpox because being the subject, because that is an example of something that most people get and survive. Right? It's not like other diseases that people really need to make sure they're vaccinated against that can kill you or other people.
It's a disease your parents want you to get. They hear your friend's got chickenpox. Oh, why don't you go stay the night at his house? They just want you to get it over with.
Well, the whole reason for going through getting chickenpox as a child is because if you don't get it as a child and build up an immunity and then you get it as an adult, it's not chickenpox, it's fucking shingles. And I hope never to know, but I hear it's hell.
I've had it once. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure your immune system's up to snuff, folks. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't want it, and if you've had chickenpox, you're carrying around the virus that could, yeah. But anyways, Here's okay. So the school said you're not vaccinated, you can't come to school. That's pretty much standard operating procedure for most of our lives, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
For now.
And the parent was like, well, I don't want to vaccinate my kid. No problem. Your kid can't come to our school. And since you obviously know better than everybody else, you get to homeschool them. There, problem solved. Well, and if you don't homeschool them, then yeah, we have legal ways of dealing with parents who don't send their kids to school. So there's your choice. Your kid can take the vaccination and go to school, or you can homeschool them, or you can do nothing.
Damning the kid by being homeschooled by an anti-vaxxer.
Do you think that kid's going to have
choice?
You think that kid's going to have a leg up in life anyways with that type of parent? I mean, let's be honest here.
Sure, but at least maybe they're getting exposed to some other ideas in public school.
I mean, I'm wondering if these are the type of parents that like, don't take pictures of my kid because you'll steal his soul with your weird camera thing. Like, like, what are you, a fucking lost tribe somewhere? Where the fuck? They still make you? I mean, it's
but especially not somebody who's been practicing medicine for 20 years is going to tell me what I can do with my child. Well, that's the mentality, man.
And it really does go back to, I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about conspiracy. Oh, Detroit Today. They were talking about conspiracy theories and why people buy into them, and et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of it is that some people are just naturally suspicious of everybody and everything, and they think that everybody's hiding something from them. That's how they can look at, if there's 100 doctors and 98 of them say that vaccinations don't cause autism, but 2 of them do, they're going to go, well, those are 2 telling me the truth. The rest of y'all are lying to me. And then, of course, you follow that up with, what's the profit margin to lie to you? I mean, if you don't vaccinate your kid and he catches something that's deadly and he dies, they can't milk you for money. I mean, let's be honest here. Autism, it's not fucking 200 years ago. It's not even 50, 40 years ago. We know how to deal with autism a lot better than we did even in our lifetime when we were kids.
Listen, everybody. That's how they get you. It does not apply to this situation.
Yeah, that's how the government gets you by what? Making sure that you are going to be getting Social Security for the rest of your life? Like, that's how the government makes their money. By making everyone sick and then making sure that they have to claim disability.
All right, this isn't like when they're like, hey, are you guys familiar with the sketch Black Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yes.
Yes. What's the one question?
The face recognition software on the...
They were talking about, Apple wants your thumbprint for security. And the answer was, that's how they get you. All right, that's not this situation with vaccines, people. I have a feeling somewhere along the line that this attitude has crept in. And no, it's science. We eradicate diseases. We live longer because of shit like this. All right, as of 2000, the measles didn't exist in the United States anymore. All right, a mere 19 years ago, measles was gone. And because a Playboy Playmate decided to start dispensing medical advice, we're here now. Good job.
The reason for the Kunkles not vaccinating their kids properly, it really doesn't have anything to do with the fear of autism, though. Bill Kunkel says in this story, with no follow-up remark from the Washington Post on this, but he says they have aborted baby cells in the vaccines. We're against abortion in any way. That's what I hope to get out of this. People are aware of
this is an answer
in these shots.
This is an answer that they accepted this answer from this man, or maybe
they printed his quote and then went on to talk about the church that they belong to and their stance on vaccinations and whatever. But yeah, they don't.
At what point can we call something like this irresponsible journalism?
I thought that was part of journalism was to, you quote the guy, but then you state the fact, right?
Like, because if you put this out there and then don't follow it up with the fact, you're feeding his ilk. You're creating more of him. Fuck are we doing? Why was that an acceptable answer?
Oh, it's just
no. That's why you can't argue. You could show, real life examples and statistics and studies to people about, and blowing away any link between autism and vaccinations. And at the end of the day, the person just doesn't believe in science and isn't going to believe in modern medicine.
I'm not a professional interviewer. You could have won another. This could have won another angle. Interviewer, which one? Which vaccines are using aborted fetuses? The measles,
obviously the ones with chickenpox,
or all of them.
And let me strap in for this answer. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
See, that's once you get to that level of some will call it delusion, some would call it faith. If you know me, you know which side I fall on. Once you get to that point, though, you can rationalize almost anything you want, and there's no talking people out of it. It's they have to either have the epiphany themselves, or they just go through life believing that shit, and it's just that's all you can do. I mean, and here's
epiphany last week during his businessman's luncheon.
I'm sorry, say that again.
He'll tell you he saw Epiphany last week during the businessman's luncheon with the $10 steak.
Yeah. Oh, the one with the ass? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
You have to specify which Epiphany.
just broke Chris.
Oh, sorry. That's mean of me.
Well, I mean, but look, I know it's not a perfect solution, but if these people refuse to deal in reality, okay, then you're not sending your kid to school. Now you have two choices. Do nothing and go to jail, or homeschool your kid. And I guarantee you start fucking putting those two choices under these people's noses, they're going to take one good whiff and go, ooh, I don't like that.
You're not allowed to put everyone else at risk because of your crazy belief. You're allowed to have your crazy belief, but once you start affecting the rest of us, we're allowed to start regulating you in some way.
Yeah, you don't want to vaccinate your kid, but you want to send them to public school. Okay, that's about it. Isn't it? So isn't there someone like arguing for like? I want to drink a fifth and then get behind the wheel and drive. I've never killed anyone.
My religion requires me to fire bullets into the air every night. I'm not aiming them at anyone.
Yeah, and if you've ever lived in Detroit on New Year's, I've had to explain to people. You see how you're shooting straight up?
Yeah.
There's a thing called gravity. At a point, that bullet's going to stop and start dropping, hit terminal velocity, and come down pretty damn close to where you fired it straight up in the air. So.
Short answer, move!
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? With Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Walk in the footsteps of royalty, peacemakers and presidents at Hillsborough Castle and Gardens. Explore a castle reborn and discover 100 acres of beauty. Now open daily with free parking just off the A1. Enjoy a majestic day out. Search Hillsborough Castle to book online and save. Walk in the footsteps of royalty, peacemakers and presidents at Hillsborough Castle and Gardens. Explore a castle reborn and discover 100 acres of beauty. Now open daily with free parking just off the A1. Enjoy a majestic day out. Search Hillsborough Castle to book online and save.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
Well, I'm surprised there isn't, because this must speak to how little of a market there is, because this is America and we'll make a buck off of anything, no matter how bullshit and horrible it is. I'm surprised there isn't a corporation that has started private schools for unvaccinated kids. Just let them be like a petri dish of all fucked up shit that we got rid of 20, 40 years ago.
Oh, Billy's out with diphtheria again today.
My polio's acting up. Can I go see the nurse?
Oh, little Dylan's got cholera.
Yeah, but it's just not practically feasible because you don't have these people concentrated in areas enough where they could sustain a school.
And that's the other thing.
That's the reason why this is such a problem. It takes a very low percentage of people to decide that they're not going to participate in the program for the whole thing to fall apart.
Well, that's the other thing that's kind of frightening about this whole anti-vaxxer thing is the people I know who are vocally anti-vaccination, they are all over the political, religious, non-religious spectrum. I mean, this is not. I know that there are certain people who try to push this as this is a right-wing Christian thing. Not. It's really not. You're doing your own side a disservice by trying to paint. I get it. You got a hard on for right-wing Christians.
The same idiots buying goop from fucking Pepper Potts. What's her name?
Oh,
Paltrow.
Yes.
Which
is the same people putting fucking, stone eggs in their vagina.
Yes, her and her. Me and my husband had a conscious uncoupling. No, you had a divorce, bitch. You ain't special. You're just like everybody else. Shit didn't work out. He realized you're just a good set of legs, and that's about it. And moved on. That's it. He's a rock star. By the way, he's earned better pussy than you, Gwyneth. Sorry.
I had to know where this idiocy came from. I'm not sequitur, but fetal embryo fibroblast cells were used to grow vaccine viruses. So that's where people are getting. They're aborting babies to make the vaccines.
But that's not. They're not looking at it in a scientific way. They're thinking in like the Looney Tunes shoving a baby into a meat grinder and is grinding it, and then stem cells pop out, in a natural casing. It's like
a syringe labeled, measles comes out at the other end.
You turn it over and ingredients, baby stuff.
Yeah,
it's got baby stuffs in it. I can't put.
Well, also, the idea that we're aborting fetuses to make a vaccine.
Yes, that's the only way making use.
Right. Instead of just making use of material that we already have that would just be thrown away as biohazard anyway.
Well,
somebody's actively going, we need more vaccines. Go downtown and see if you can find some loose women and maybe you can abort their fetuses.
And if we don't abort this baby, we're going to have measles, all right? It's your choice. You can either abort this baby or we still have measles.
That's my new pickup line. Go to the bar and be like, look here, honey. Do you care about the human race? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, then we need to have unprotected sex. I need to dump mini loads up in you to make sure it takes. And then you need to have an abortion so we can create some vaccines to protect us all from these horrible, horrible diseases. Depending on the bar in the Metro Detroit area, that might actually work now that I think about it.
Are you on the east side?
I'm thinking of Frankie's back in the day in Westland. Usually all you had to do is say, I have Coke. And that was it. So
sometimes didn't even survives a zombie apocalypse. He's like, we need to start fucking. Why, Rich? To repopulate the earth? No, so we can make some fetuses to abort, so we can get some vaccines.
Yeah,
so we can stay alive.
Some anti-zombie vaccines. Oh, and it really is kind of scary because I have a few family members who are way down the rabbit hole on this anti-vaxxer stuff. And the leaps and bounds that the mental gymnastics they take is awe-inspiring to watch. And I'm just like, wow. Okay. Here's the thing.
I wish I could be that dumb.
There's just no, I'm like anybody, even their friends will try to, use scientific facts valid sources to as gently as possible refute their claims, and they're just dismissed out of hand. Like, one of my favorite comments is, I'm not even going to look at anything you post because it's propaganda. Well, I'm glad that you're so informed on this subject. I mean, in the face of that amount of willful ignorance, what do? You just got to shake your head and go, whatever.
Well, yeah, clearly, because you formed this opinion free of any propaganda, I'm sure.
Walk away.
I mean, yeah, and on top of it, let's be honest here, Chris, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like, some of these people that I know are like very religious, and they're always citing Jenny McCarthy, and I'm like, you realize what she used to do, right? Like, she still takes her clothes off fairly often. Like, it's like, if it was any other subject, you would be, she should be ashamed of herself, and the harlot and all this nonsense. But because you agree with her, all of a sudden all sins are forgiven. Oh, wait a minute, that's how we got Trump. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, right. Not to be like too sensitive, but those kind of arguments kind of bother me, because like, I don't think that Jenny McCarthy is a genius or that anyone should be listening to her opinions on anything scientific. But I also don't think that she should be blamed, or she should be shamed for being a nude model or whatever. And it's also because it's faulty in two ways. You try and use somebody's own faulty logic against them, which is, well,
hold on. I think you got me and Chris. You're mistaking what we're saying. Chris, do you look down on Jenny McCarthy for getting nude in Playboy?
No.
I mean, I looked down at the Playboy magazine when I had it, but I didn't look down on her as a person. I'm just saying that these are how these people would look at her.
As a doctor, yes, she's
no, but you're stating it as in, like, this is somebody that by your logic you shouldn't be paying attention to because of what she does.
Why am I taking? Okay, I'll put it this way: why are we taking medical advice from a nude model?
We shouldn't be.
But if we want to know how to find our good side, there's nothing
about nude modeling that makes you inherently wrong about scientific subjects.
But if you're trying to dispense medical advice, I'm not taking your expertise is not in the area of medicine.
Yeah, but you
do not have a medical degree.
It occurs in other instances that don't involve medicine, right? So, like the fact that we refer to Avenatti as the porn star lawyer.
No, but I'm saying she does not practice medicine. She does not have a medical degree. Why would I take her advice on anything medical?
You wouldn't. And you wouldn't also necessarily think that just because she takes her clothes off for a living that she's automatically wrong about everything.
She's a guitar player. Why are we taking...
Then you also shouldn't use that as an argument as to why an anti-vaxxer should change their opinion. I'm just saying it's not a valid argument to make, and in the fall that is kind of shaming.
They're not a doctor? It's not a valid argument?
No. The non-valid argument is using persons living.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Aaron. I do. And one of the things I remember thinking, because the first time I heard her speak up on this was on Howard Stern, like many years ago, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I was thinking was, okay, you're saying that all these doctors and specialists that you took your kid to are saying that he's autistic because of the vaccinations he was given. Why aren't you bringing these doctors that apparently that you have an army of that all agree, that all told you this? You can't find one of them to go on national television or radio and give their expert medical opinion. Like that's what irked me. I'm like, I get it. You're talking about something that's personal to you, but if you're trying to raise awareness for the issue, why are you the self-appointed spokesperson when you're not an expert on the subject? Mm-hmm. I mean, having an autistic, yes, if I want to talk to a parent who's raising an autistic child, Jenny McCarthy would be one of them. She's got firsthand experience.
Oh, yeah.
Real world experience. Okay, but when it comes to what the doctors told her, let's be honest, how many times if one of us went to the doctor And we go, okay, so what's going on with us? And they start talking, and you're like, I got about a third of that. Can you dumb it down for me? I can't, and this is not insulting her intelligence. That's just the average person, because we don't go through fucking 12 years of medical school or whatever the fuck it is. 8 years, I'm sorry. So we don't know all the terminology and stuff. So why don't we you can't get one person out of this army of doctors that are backing you up to come out and educate? That, to me, is where I'm like, I'm having a hard time taking it seriously. So if I make light of the situation, and I understand what you're saying, it's not a fair argument, but I wasn't trying to be fair. I was just pointing out their own hypocrisy. I was being an asshole is what I was doing, to be brutally honest with you. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to be fair. No,
but you're using a tactic that I think a lot of people use and think that they're making a point with it, and I don't know.
No, I understand, because it's a dick move. It's a dick move to pull that. It's just what did Jim Garrison say? One of his quotes. He's like, I never understand how come a call girl has to have bad eyesight when she gets on the witness stand. Like, it doesn't matter what she does. What she saw is what she fucking saw.
Right.
So if we had a businessman who has cost thousands of people their jobs and they're living in their homes get up on the stand, but as long as he's in a three-piece with the right pinstripes, he's believable, no matter the sins he committed. She exchanges sex for money. That means that she didn't see what she said she saw. That's horseshit. I mean, we know that. We know that on a visceral level, but it's not that popular to say still. Because you're going to get people to go, well, look, it points to her morals. Does it really?
Right. Well, I mean, like I was saying about the Stormy Daniels thing, I mean, that's what it basically came down to. Oh, who are you going to believe, the porn star or the president?
I'm going to believe that president fucked a porn star. Well, he's a pussy hound.
Yeah, I mean, if we start from there, any president, just blank, blank president fucked blank porn star. I automatically believe it. Yeah, you're going to have to prove to me that it didn't happen.
If Marilyn Monroe had come out and said, I fucked both Kennedy brothers, I'd be like, that bitch got fucked by both Kennedy brothers. Of course she did, because they're Kennedys. Oh, my back hurts. I haven't had a strange piece of arse all day. That's...
You man in the background, Bill Clinton's like, hell yeah.
Exactly.
Damn right.
Did Bill Clinton get a blowjob from a 19-year-old intern? Of course he fucking did.
And he used a cigar as a sex toy. He did many things.
But also, these people have such twisted pretzel logic that you can't... It's impossible to call them out as hypocrites.
No, it's absolutely just, it's like a cat playing with something before it kills it. It's just amusing itself.
Yeah.
That's really what, honestly, I try to avoid these conversations with people in person, because a lot of people don't know when to end the conversation. It's like, it becomes like, they're like on some sort of crusade to change my mind. And I'm like, what scientific facts do you have to back it up? I don't. Well, then what are we talking about here? What are we doing here? We're just moving air. We're talking about talk. That's all we're doing. And I mean, yes, the subject is interesting enough to last for a 5-10 minute conversation, but I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and debate you on it, because there's no debate. You refuse to accept the scientific proof that's presented to you, and your rebuttal is, I've heard doctors say, and I go, what doctors? Can you show me a research paper they published, a peer-reviewed research paper? Right. Give me a morsel of something to go with, and I'm willing to look at it, but you can't even do that.
It's the same information bias that people go through on a daily basis when they do Google searches, right? They don't read every Google result and go, okay, let's come up with a consensus on what this means. They skim through until they find the Google result that confirms their belief already, reads that article and goes, well, now it's fact.
I knew it.
That's confirmation bias. You're not looking for truth. You're just looking for confirmation of beliefs that you already hold.
And I guess it's where I mean, I don't know how you guys, but if I'm searching on a subject, I'm trying to find, like, a statement is made, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Let me look it up. I will go through and like, okay, this one's, lockerup.com. Oh, of course it's taking this side. Jezebel.com, of course, they're taking this side. And I try to get the usual suspects out and try to find the stuff that's like on the 6th, 7th page of the search results. Because usually that's where you're going to find the real shit, not the sensational shit that's going to give the confirmation bias that most people are looking for.
But that's not the norm. The norm is, I think Hillary Clinton should be locked up. Well, let me Google this. Oh, lockerup.com, they must know. It's right in the title. Let's see what they think about the subject. Oh, they think she should be locked up? Well, there you go.
Oh, goddamn it. I just typed in lockerup.com. For just a mere $150,000, we can buy it, guys.
Oh.
It's for sale.
Damn.
Hey, 150?
Alex Jones, there you go.
I'm thinking by this time next year, we could flip that for 3 times the amount.
I'm surprised it's up for sale.
They're still going to be talking about locking up Hillary, and it's probably going to happen even more.
Even when she's dead, still going to be talking about locking her up.
I guarantee you, Trump's going to be out on the campaign trail in 2020 talking about Obama and Hillary.
Now, impeach him.
Especially if Biden runs. I mean, not if he runs, but especially if Biden ends up being like the leader at this point next year. Oh, yeah.
Now, impeachhim.com is an actual site, but it only has one measly post on it. And it's got a little menu and click it that says the daily rundown of why Trump should be impeached. And it was last posted on February 10th, 2017.
Give up.
Wow, really? 2 weeks into the presidency, you give up?
Wow. Stick-to-itiveness like a motherfucker right there.
Yeah. That you know what that was? That was
they were only allotted a certain number of pages for their website, and they ran out of room after 2 weeks.
Somebody bought that thing drunk late night.
Some upper middle class guy. I just bought impeach him. Let me post this one thing. Next morning, like, oh shit,
what did I do?
As long as I don't fucking post on it, maybe no one will find it. Oh God, good times, good times. Well, okay, so I can't remember if I've ever asked you this, Aaron, and if it's too personal because it's family stuff, I understand. But I mean, your kids got vaccinated, right?
Yes.
Okay, same with mine. My daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You're a parent. You at some point you have to deal with other parents because kids are social creatures. You can't just lock them in a room all day. Well, you can, but they don't turn out very well. Have you ever heard from another parent, not on television, not on the radio, not on the internet, that's like, yeah, my kid is fucked up because of X vaccination?
Well, no.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, is this, I mean, yeah, we just spent a good portion of time talking about it because we can goof on it. It's low hanging fruit. But I mean, is this one of those things like it's not really as big of a problem as some people would like us to believe it is?
It's not a problem at all. Right. The problem with it is the correlation, right? And people not knowing how to separate correlation from causation. So vaccine is a pretty universal thing. Most kids in America get them without even, they just by practice, The doctors don't even ask you, like, are you going to get them vaccinated? They're just like, here's the shots. Here's what we're going to do, right? So because everyone gets them and then developmental problems happen at an early age, that happens to coincide with these ages where we are still getting vaccinated. People see that as a direct result of it.
Well, I mean, there is something to the fact that we've had, 12 reported cases of measles in Wayne County in the last 6 months.
Awesome.
I mean, that's not exactly like it's not like, you better call Dustin Hoffman because we got an epidemic on our hands type shit. But
something else gone 19 years ago, everybody.
Yeah, it was unheard of in our lifetime. This isn't ancient fucking history. It's not like it made a comeback because it mutated into super measles. I mean, it's to the point where I'm hearing public PSAs on the radio about, even if you're an adult, you might have to get a measles booster shot because of, blah, 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 blah. If you come into contact with people at, the airport and in a couple schools, I think is where they found the reported cases.
Well, right. I mean, because as soon as the virus gets a toehold, it's going to start mutating. It's going to go through the process of evolution again, where, some measles bodies or some of the virus is going to get killed off by the healthy adults that survive it, but the virus, the form of the virus that gets passed on is going to be even stronger, and it's going to be resistant to that. So, yeah, it's going to get worse. Like the cat's out of the bag.
Oh, goody! I think it's time to put in a call to my friend who's the biochemist. And be like, so, what's your opinion on all this?
I mean, it's not something that we can't overcome again. It's still controllable. It's just we're going to have to go through a new process of new vaccines, and it's going to be expensive. It's going to be super expensive, and the government, i.e., every one of you taxpaying motherfuckers, is going to foot the bill for it.
Hope it was worth it. Thanks, woke mom. I'm not even going to look up wokemom.com because I know that's a website. It has to be.
It's somebody's blog.
You know what? Probably. Now that I think about it, that does sound like a blog name full of anti-vaxxers and flat earthers.
See, now I want to touch the tooth. All right? I typed it in. Oh, it's parked. It's available.
I bet you it's not 150,000 though. We could probably get that for what is it through GoDaddy? Like $10, 30 for a 5-year, whatever.
Right.
Well, the real question is so how do we get the anti-vaxxers and the flat earthers together?
We're not going down that route.
With a lot of alcohol and firearms in an isolated area.
So what we do is we're going to have to give up North and South Dakota, all right? There's not a lot of people there. We'll put them somewhere else. We'll pay them.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
Nice. You put the flat earthers in North Dakota and the anti-vaxxers in South Dakota and a wall around the whole thing and just,
airdrop supplies.
Let nature take its course.
It should turn into Lord of the Flies in 30 minutes. Oh, God. All right. Well, did we have anything?
No, I think that covers it.
I'm sorry, North and South Dakota listeners.
Yeah, even if we got both states, everyone in both states listening, that's all 12 of you. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, everybody. Real quick, Todd, he's back. It's that time of year again. But yes, Todd's podcast is fired back up, Escaping the Cave. You can check it out at ChristopherMedia.net. As well as just click through and go check it out. And Todd's back. He's doing more frequent. He just posted another one while we were recording. It's 3 in a week. Keeping them shorter.
Yeah, he's if he keeps up this pace, it's pretty prolific pace he's setting for himself here.
Yeah, check it out. It's always a good listen. I listen to first. I make room for it in my crowded podcast schedule. So Escaping the Cave, check that shit out. Also, we had a little technical difficulties the last few weeks. I didn't say anything about it. Just trying to get figured out behind the scenes. But everything's figured out. We're Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. It's all there. It's all updating. It's all interfacing properly. Welcome, new listeners. I see you. Spreaker is helping us to accomplish gaining more listeners. And I see you. Welcome, everybody. Just a reminder, we are on Twitter at @RegimentedPod. You can email us at regimented@ChristopherMedia.net. Check us out every Saturday, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Later, guys.
unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Colour Trend is inspired by the elusive colours of the Irish landscape. Simple and mysterious, everyday and precious. From the hues of Ireland's earth, sky and waters to its wild flora and native fauna, we put Ireland in paint. High-performance paints, using only the best ingredients, making it your perfect household paint. Find your perfect colour with Colour Trend. Infinite colour from Ireland. Colour Trend is inspired by the elusive colours of the Irish landscape. Simple and mysterious, everyday and precious. From the hues of Ireland's earth, sky and waters to its wild flora and native fauna, we put Ireland in paint. High-performance paints, using only the best ingredients, making it your perfect household paint. Find your perfect colour with Colour Trend. Infinite colour from Ireland.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
London Stock Exchange Group is here to be your essential global markets infrastructure and data partner, where open isn't just a platform, but a philosophy, giving you the freedom to make your mark in the world. LSEG, open makes more possible.
Hey, Cousin Sal here, bringing you an exclusive FanDuel Sportsbook offer for the big game. All new users are getting an exclusive 55-1 odds boost on either team to win the big game. Max bet $5. That means you could turn a $5 bet into $275 if your pick wins. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/Sal.
21 plus and present in New Jersey. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. $10 first deposit required. Max bonus $275. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.